Alright guys, and welcome back once again to the StarLadder StarSeries Season 14, presented with iLeague. And we are going into our second match now between Navi and PiTER. Just came off of Kabul, of course, and for those that did miss it, just a very quick recap of how the map went while we are waiting for the knife round to get started and conclude itself here. PiTER actually had a very good start for that. They won the pistol round and were pretty consistent after that. Navi managed to pick up one round, but I think I managed to get around like 7-1 at one point during the matchup there. But then Navi really made a swinging comeback there. We had some absolutely huge all-star performances in the first half, specifically coming out from Guardian, but then in that second half, as they continued on in that path, Seized and Flamie really got their hands dirty in regards to picking up some really absolutely impactful rounds there in that second half. So unfortunately, PiTER really struggled, of course, in the second half of picking up absolutely anything whatsoever. And because of that, we saw a very quick closeout for Navi there to pick things up. However, now we're going to go back over here onto Mirage, which I believe this is Navi's pick. Unfortunately, the admins didn't tell us the map, so I had to go check it on Half-Life TV. And I checked it like 5 minutes ago, so I might be remembering incorrectly. But I do believe that this one is going in as Navi's pick. So we'll see how this one goes. That would actually that would be interesting, and I kind of want to question if that's correct or not, because just looking at like more recent stats for Navi, they've actually sort of avoided Mirage quite a bit. So that's interesting to see them picking that. But it could be because of the fact that, again, they may just want to be testing this map out here against PiTER, who, again, although they did have some issues there at the beginning of it, that's just maybe adjusting to the team. And now that they've sort of grounded themselves in regards to how they want to handle things at this point, this could be used as sort of an experimentation time for Navi to figure out how they maybe want to play things up on this map. But they're going to be starting off over on the T side here. PiTER's going to get their opportunity to jump over on the CT side, and we'll go directly into it, guys. So let's take a look at exactly how things are happening. A couple decoys get tossed over towards middle. PiTER will rotate into that to check it, but won't really react upon that one. And now we see Navi moving very quickly into the site here. A couple players there. That's going to be Guardian. He opens it up, moves in, shuts down spaze. Looking for the second one as well, as he's going to try to take out jmqa. It's going to end up being Zeus that finishes him off, but all the damage done by Guardian, of course. Zeus looking for more, and he's going to pick up another headshot there, shuts down facecrack, and over as well, we're going to see that waterfalLLZ gets finished off by Egor. It's just an absolute run over here from the players on Navi, who Beak is going to look to maybe get a response kill or two, but he's quickly getting surrounded, so he's got to get the heck out of here and get a better position if he wants to look for a couple kills. He's got armor, so if he could keep himself alive, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but with everybody here on Navi already knowing where he is and with them very quickly chasing him down, I highly doubt he's going to be able to survive for too much longer at this point. And although he finds one, is going to still be able to keep himself rolling, but in just a second here, rearing its ugly head will be Guardian, but they won't even get a chance to play that one out, as Seized will finally be able to shut him down by chasing him. And of course, Navi again picking up the pistol here after PiTER found that first one back over on Cobblestone. They did manage to respond to it pretty quickly on the second half, and now we're going to pick things up on this first one on this second map here as well. So they buy up, and actually we've been seeing a lot more T-sided teams just go directly for the rifle buy-ups, because oftentimes CT teams try to go for the 5/7 armor along with the scout buy-ups in the second round, and that's exactly what we have here from PiTER. They've gone right for that. waterfaLLZ specifically is going to be using the scout, and for the rest of the guys, it's, as I said before, mainly 5/7s and armor, and we've got, you know, P250 sitting over there on the facecrack. But it looks like Navi are feeling pretty confident about it, so they've only picked up 2 of the rifles there. They're using 3 SMGs. One's a P90, granted, and that'll be over onto Zeus, but they're going to look to try and use this as an opportunity to stack some money up, and Seize there. Gets a nice little damage over off on a facecrack. Not going to finish him off, but Edward too also taking some hits. That's coming out there from jmqa as he's waiting for some more teammates to come in for support. He's going to do the job himself, though, finishing off jmqa. And now the team works their way onto the point, and PiTER knows that unfortunately they did take the big risk on stacking themselves all over here towards the A site, and that's not going to work out. So with all the guns that they've invested into this one, kind of sounds funny when you look at what they have, but it's second round, so when you look at all the things that they have invested in this round, it's going to be much better off to try and keep those for the third round so that they can hopefully do a little bit more economical damage at the least. But this round definitely is going to be Navi's, regardless of what happens here over these next few moments. See, waterfalLLZ there is going to try to do some damage. Does connect a couple shots here. As we can see, Edward and C is getting a little bit lower there. Edward, I think, taking a damage earlier on, but C is getting brought down to 30 HP now. But for Navi, they might actually end up pushing. This is a perfect flash to right in. It finds facecrack. He's looking for more. There's a good flick shot there that comes out there from waterfalLLZ. Actually going to be able to shut down Seized before he can do too much else damage, but that's still another kill that goes by their way, and that's another pistol that they're not going to have going into this one, and that's basically going to be a USP or a P250 that they'll have to work with this time around, as Navi again keeps himself, or works to keep themselves, apologies, into as safe as a position as they possibly can. One more player from Navi, and I believe that is going to be the one that ended up dying down there. It'll be flamie now picking up the extra, flamie going to go in and pick up the extra AK as well as they try to upgrade more and more of their players. There's smoke coming out here from the players from Navi too to work to make this take a little bit easier, as PiTER's waterfall still does have this scout in play at this point, so it's going to be a little bit rough to just blindly push that, as that could be a pretty quick shot. But back over here on the A site, spaze is going to hold things initially, but Zeus responds with 2 more kills almost immediately after this one. And C's rolling into the B site too, shuts him down. We saw Beak picking up 1 kill, and he's looking for another as he jumps back up, but there's flamie to take him out fairly quickly. So again, all in waterfalls, and he's trapped at this point, so I don't think there's going to be a chance for him to save, and no, there shall not. Zeus will take him out, and very quick, very safe takes coming out here from Navi. Just take it nice and slow there. Work out. It's a little bit hairy, of course, because PiTER do a good job of actually placing their players in positions that counter out the positions from Navi, but again, with the guns that they were working against, not going to look too good. I am interested to see how this gun round goes, though, because, like I said, it wasn't absolutely perfect from Navi. They definitely end up coming out fairly clean towards the end, but we still had those couple trades coming in, and it's just unfortunate that Navi were very quick to train the aim and lock on to those players in order to take them out, and PiTER wasn't able to do more damage. If a lesser team was playing against PiTER right now, I would imagine that it would have had a lot bigger of an impact onto the Natus Vincere roster. But now we go into that rifle round, and as I just said, it should be interesting, because if PiTER have been able to perform, this well on some of these eco rounds and can pick up quite a few kills, then we may see their potential in order to pick up quite a few more here and maybe even win it out on the gun round with a fairly strong hold. And there's going to be a nice nade that goes in underpass too, catches Zeus off guard, brings him down to 41 HP. And for the rest of Navi now, mainly playing things towards middle, definitely leaning towards a B take as the smoke start to come out here too, working that potentially over up on a cat and then getting their way into this site from this point forward. But they actually need to maintain mid control before they can do that cat as well. They still don't have full control over this one, but there's going to be Edward now. He moves in, he picks up the first kill over here onto waterfalls, and as they push their way forward, they're also going to try to go for this B take too. Edward, though, also catching spaze down and then seized on the way into that B site. That's left completely open now as they pick up that kill. You can see Beak tries to push through, but he's shut down very quickly by Zeus as well. And now it's just going to be facecrack left in a 1-on-5. Very low. There's some very low players from Navi as you look around the map there. Edward, seized, and Zeus all very close to being one-shottable here, but the rotation for him is not going to be so good. He's going to get caught with a knife out, so there's Edward with a free kill. And Navi keep all 5 players alive there, despite them 3 of them being very, very low and with a nice amount of economical damage that could have been done. And Edward's even gonna rub it in a little bit there. He didn't have 1 HP, but it was pretty close to that. So, for PiTER at this point, of course, they go back into an eco. Not a lot of armor invested into this one either. It's a pretty preserved round for these guys, so I expect this to be pretty much a run over from Navi. As again, they're playing this pretty much no surprises really from Navi at this point. They're just taking it nice and slow, and it's working out great for them. And unfortunately for PiTER, they're just not able to respond with enough kills. They've only really had 1 round where they could have done it as of yet. And Navi did change up the playbook a little bit when we went into that gun round. Of course, they try to catch them off guard, and it works out great. And they even they make the take with pretty much minimal trouble for themselves. So Zeus again shuts down facecrack. You can see that Ubik is able to push back in there and takes out at least one of them, but that's a very quick trade from flamie. Now Edward moves in here, going to try to take down spaze. It's going to succeed in doing so, and that's going to eliminate him now. So there's another one for Navi going onto the board. Still very confident, and we should be going right into another buy round here for PiTER. And now Ioann gets onto the board here too from waterfalls. I haven't really seen him work too much with this yet. I haven't really seen him work too much with them yet, and this is, I think, the first time he's going to be able to buy this one up on this map, so we'll see how well he's able to pick this one up. And the rest of the team, too, full utility kits and everything. They've saved up quite a bit, and now they're on the full losing bonus, too, along with that full save off of the previous round. These guys are going to be ready to rock and roll, essentially, here for anything that gets tossed their way. The question is going to be the performance factor. Can they actually pick up those shots? Because, so far as this map is concerned, almost all of those duels have been going by the way of Navi, as they've been ultra consistent in terms of their winning duels and just overall finding the entries that they need to get themselves onto the site. That's going to be the big problem here, is PiTER needs to change something up in the game plan to try and take out a couple players from Navi down earlier to make that impact a lot less successful. And they have tried to throw out a couple extra spurts of aggression here and there to look for those kills, but those as well have been responded to very quickly by Navi, and unfortunately none of them have really bore any fruit just as of yet here, as they're still trying to figure out what exactly is going to work for them. But from Navi, it's going to be a 5-man take going over here onto the A site. 4 coming in from T-Ramp, and 1 more comes in from Palace. PiTER catch onto this pretty quickly, and there's actually a molly that comes out too, so it's going to stop them, and Natus is giving them so much time to rotate, and this is actually going to be a really good hold. 40 seconds left here too, so they would be very, very close on the rotation time if they decided to call this off go to be, but they pushed in regardless. Edward not realizing he's run into one of these players. It's actually going to be flamie that takes down Ubik. Edward now through the smoke, pushing over towards jungle. He catches another one. spaze did respond with a kill over onto flamie, but now we can see Edward try to finish him off, and it's going to be C's that actually picks up the kill over there. Facecrack goes down, and although jmqa is going to be the final player alive, he tries to stick himself to this angle, picks up that one back over there onto Edward, of course, but now can't find anything else out, and that's going to be a very hard angle to hold. Looking for another one back over here from Connector. He brings C's down to just 3 HP, and this molly's going to go deep, but thankfully, because he was tossing that molly and was trading his gun, it does allow C's to actually get away. So jmqa not really with a whole lot that he can do at this point. Some very, very low players again on Navi. but it's not going to be enough in order to push this one through. So I think jmqa is going to have to call this one off for fallback, or in just a second, that's going to happen. SeaZ manages to wrap all the way around through CT spawn, gets himself through the crawl space into the sniper room, and then shuts things down from that point forward. So no saves at all from PiTER. They're probably going to go... Actually, they're going to force it up a little bit here as they go for the biops. No utility at all for the most part here. They've got the smokes to work with, but in terms of flashes and whatnot, if we see a quick take from Navi, it's definitely going to get a little bit rough here, and they haven't really been doing that. So overall, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world, but if they are able to realize that they've gone for the buy-up here, then they can definitely try to use that sort of strategy to catch them out. And again, that was unfortunate too, because PiTER had a good setup there from the beginning. They had that good... Molly that came out there, and that blocked 4 players from even getting into the site, and SeaZ there too. Gets a little bit aggressive. He gets a 2 for 1, so I suppose he's happy with this one, but the Beak picking up the kill, and now actually, apologies, Navi are just going to solidify themselves once again as they find 2 more kills on their way into that A site. So it's down to jmqa again. He'll definitely have to look to save at this point, as he's pretty much on the opposite side of the map. And Navi just sweeping through things so far here on the T side. But back to the point I was originally making, that should have absolutely been around for PiTER. As the smoke setup came in there, they had the molly set up too, and that prevented Navi from coming in. So they were rotated in, they were holding it. It was just very unfortunate that they weren't able to pick up any of the kills that were needed. And again, those responses from Navi are just so quick. We're getting into very close duels, and you can tell here too by a lot of these rounds. This one is an exception, but in a lot of our previous rounds here, we've seen Navi's players getting extremely low, just sort of on the brink for like almost 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 of their players getting very low, and they're just not able to finish it off on PiTER's end of it, and that's very unfortunate, as they've been that much closer to winning these duels and winning rounds because they might have won those duels, and it's just not happening here. Had PiTER been a little bit more consistent with their aiming and positioning, then they might be looking at a very different scoreline here, something like maybe, I would probably say like 4 to 3 or almost there, potentially in their favor, had things have ended up going their way, but it doesn't for now, and PiTER have to sit back once again for another round. It's going to be another attempt to do a pistol armor round, as we can see the 5.7 armors coming out, a couple P250s in the mix there too, and the only utility that they seem to have in the mix, or in this arch little buy up here, it's going to be that flash back over there on Ubik. For Navi, they've got all the time in the world, and they realize again that the players here from PiTER might be trying to work something cheeky, so they'll take their time with it, just work the default take as far as the B side is concerned. There's a nice flash that comes out from jmqa, or somebody here from Navi, I believe, they actually tossed that one, as it would have made sense for jmqa to toss that, but they managed to handle that anyway. They shut down jmqa. The call comes out a little bit early, but still only having Ubik rotating in. They're just gonna get clothesline there by flamie. SeaZ and Guardian picking up 2 more kills. waterfaLLZ maybe going to find one, finds that one, going to transition this into maybe a second one, but thankfully Edward comes in there with the rifle to shut it down before he can pick it up. And almost a team ace from Navi that time. Edward got a little bit greedy picking up 2 kills, but not giving Zeus his turn. But just look at the money here as well from Navi. When you take a look at exactly how much they have, you know, you've got 3, potentially 4 of your players almost at max money, within about a 2 to 3K range of being within max money. Edward's a little bit further out of that, but still, I mean, with the buy-ups, if we didn't counter those into this round, of course, they would have been sitting a lot of players at max money and a couple just within a very short range of it. So even if we see PiTER suddenly getting themselves back into this matchup at this point, they've got to work through so much cash on the Navi members that, unfortunately, I don't think Navi are ever going to have to save. I think they're just going to be able to force buy through almost every single round. Maybe look at one round with a little bit of a lapse utility, but for the most part here, they should be able to buy right through the losing bonus to the point where they can go for it again. So even if it gets up to like 4-8 or something like that, Navi are going to have rifles this entire time, and those would be 4 very hard fought rounds for PiTER to work for. But the take from Navi again doesn't get off to the best start here, unfortunately, as Edward gets a little bit greedy, tries to push forward, and unfortunately is shut down by a crossfire setup there that comes in from Connector along with Cat over towards middle. Ubik as well sets up another kill for his teammates, as that's going to be able to shut down SeaZ. So far, that mid take is going to end up failing, and now it's all coming in through either Palace or Ramp. Don't think they fully caught onto it just as of yet. facecrack's got a pretty good feeling that there's going to be some action moving in from Palace, and now waterfaLLZ catching him too, but there's Guardian, pushes right through, picks up 1 kill. Zeus with the second to clear this one out. Now Ubik's slow too, and he's going to get shut down by Guardian with the pistol. Guardian looking for cover, gets behind the boxes over here. Now should be able to plant it, but no, switches over to the op, shuts down spaze. And all of a sudden, this round is going the complete opposite direction here. jmq's out in the open, and Guardian's going to be able to take him down as well. What a round from Guardian. 4 kills off of his hinges, completely turning it around for his team, and makes that entry almost completely on his own. Zeus didn't even have to do anything except for cleaning up that final player, and he didn't even do that. He just sat there and took the bullets. It was Guardian that picks it up. So that's another round for Navi, and again, very unfortunate, as PiTER had everything they needed to win that round. They had the man advantage, they had the positional advantages, they should have had a fairly good idea as to where that push was going to come from, and it just all goes by the wayside there. They leave themselves way too overexposed, and Navi's player, specifically Guardian, again, just goes absolutely crazy in picking up these rounds here. And the confidence, I imagine, is going to be a pretty big factor here pretty soon for PiTER as well. When you just consider now 9 rounds down, they're not even really making an impact. That last round was probably like the best amount of player kills that they managed to get in quite a few rounds. Just look at this here as we go back. Almost 4 players alive, and 4 or 3 players alive in almost every single round previously. But there's jmqa again. He starts it off well for himself. He's able to play back over here towards the apartments, and he takes it the player that's going to try to lurk there and pick up those kills. Edward again finds a trade, picks up a second one before getting traded out by waterfalLLZ, so that will leave it into an even game. But now flamie finding the entry. That's also traded out though by facecrack, so we're still back into an even ball game at this point. 2-on-2 with jmqa and facecrack trying to hold things off. We're still looking for that rotation from jmqa as he just looked out in case anything was going to come through underpass or whatnot. But the players now from Navi very, very slowly sneaking into this. Guardian going to look for that shot on a jmqa as he maybe attempts to peek out here from connector in a second. And he's actually going to toss the bomb back as well. So let's see. This is going to be a crazy shot if he can connect. And yep, he just rolls right out there. Goodbye, jmqa. And now the final player, facecrack. They haven't spotted him just yet, but I imagine when they move over here to plant, they should be able to catch him. And there you go. Guardian again, man. What a shot from him. Finishes off those final 2 players. Clutches out. It would have been the close situation for his team. And just going to absolutely shut things down. But now they're getting damage in it. At the very least, like if there's any redeeming factor for PiTER at this point, is the fact that, again, they are managing to, at the very least, get some economical damage into some of these rounds. Bringing it down to about 2 players every time is going to bring those pools down. Unfortunately, for Guardian and Zeus at least, those 2 are still sitting at almost max money. So you still have to worry about that even when you start picking up those rounds. And PiTER absolutely have to force at this point too. They're down 10 rounds. They cannot play an economical game. They just have to push this as far as they humanly can. And they need to win a round in order to keep themselves in this game, as otherwise it's going to be over very, very quickly here. But Seas finds 1 kill, moves in for a second. spaze finally getting a trade for himself there on PiTER. But so many of these players have gone down low, and there's going to be Guardian picking up yet another kill there. He actually kills Zeus for some reason with that grenade, but thought it killed someone else, but it's not going to be the case, and that's going to be a little bit of a flub up, and this leaves things now all in Guardian's hands in this 1-on-3 now. The smoke will come out so he can pick up the bomb, and keep in mind too, they haven't actually rotated everybody in. For some reason, there's still a suspicion, and as well, Ubik is trying to line up this flank at this point too, just to get an easy shutdown on him. But jmqa playing really far back in connector, as I think he's aware at this point that Guardian's going to look for that shot, and he just goes for the blind peek, doesn't get it. Now they know where he is. He's got the bomb, he's going to try to fall back, but there's Ubik lined up right behind him, very, very low at 19 HP. But with 38 seconds left, it's going to have to be a very, very fast rotation, and obviously it will be caught. So Guardian realizes it's not going to be worth his time. He just is going to go right in here. He knows he can't save either because there's just no presence, and there might even be that player sitting behind him. So he's going to creep in at this point, looking for the plant. He's got to try to get at least a kill over here, and it can't shut that one down. spaze finally ends the monster. Guardian's going to get shut down, and now we have PiTER on the board. Took 10 rounds, took 11 rounds actually, but they finally do it here. And now comes the problem of consistency for PiTER here. They fought this hard to pick up a single round, but if they lose one immediately after this, look at the money. There's not enough for a rebuy. So if Navi, who of course now will have a very confident buy going into this next round after finally dropping one after 10 consecutive wins, if Navi pick this one up for an immediate response, then PiTER are going to be right back onto those pistols, and they've got to build their economy up all over again from square one, which obviously should speak for itself as to how much that's basically just going to suck, and that will more than likely set it up to 14-1. Maybe 13-2 if they can squeak through with 1 round, which will probably be on that final gun round, but for the most part here, that would potentially lead into a double save for PiTER. However, facecrack finds the first kill, so they might not have to do that just as of yet. And now for the rest of Navi, actually changing up the ballgame after that A push finally fails. They've basically been doing that for the previous like 5 or 6 rounds almost too. I should mention that. There's been almost no B play from Navi in these rounds as of yet. They've really been favoring A, and just a default push. It hasn't been anything super duper creative and whatnot. But for this round, they're going to keep the presence from Zeus over here in connector just to watch out, and it's still drawing a lot of attention. Like, PiTER even know how much they favor the A push, so he's going to try to sell that to the best of his abilities, but I think they've caught on to the fact that it's a fake. So facecrack, he moves his way back over here inside of the market. Seas finds an opener for Navi, but spaze is still there on the site, takes a lot of damage, but he is able to connect the trade over onto Edward. Facecrack now gets himself just outside of the site here too, and spaze again finds another kill over onto Seas. There's Zeus though, shutting down spaze, and facecrack gets himself over here behind the bench wall. And is waiting for these players to get on site at this point. And they don't know where he is, so he's actually a pretty big wild card now when that plant's going to come out, which has to be soon because, again, Navi are running that timer down very, very low. But Zeus as well picking up another kill. However, here comes facecrack. Finds one. Zeus shuts it down, though. And that's going to be another round for Navi. And that's going to be an absolute disaster for PiTER now. They should be able to maybe go for a pistol buy up this time, but rifle buys would really be pushing it if they even go for that. Just waiting to see exactly what PiTER goes for, and that was so unfortunate too, because we could see that facecrack worked so hard for that setup back over there behind bench, and that unfortunately has been the story for like this is 3 to 4 rounds now that PiTER potentially could have won, but just due to the pure aim power and just the power overall from Navi. And there's Guardian just pushing through. That was a good lineup from facecrack, but Guardian moves in so quickly, shuts him down, and he finds 3. Holy crap! Guardian's going absolutely crazy, and he's just like, look, Guardian single-handedly gets control of the site for his team. They don't even have to do anything else. This is all on Guardian at this point. He's an absolutely crazy player. We've obviously seen some standout performances in some of these other rounds from these other players too, but almost all of the highlight plays have been coming out from Guardian. He is an absolute monster right now. Sees we'll get a piece of the action there too as he comes in to finish off Ubik. But now we go into the 14th round here. PiTER, thankfully, having gone for a very, very light buy, actually only have to save for the 1 round. They won't save for 2 like I thought they were going to have to before, so the economy wasn't actually in as bad of a position as I thought it was going to be in. But nonetheless, again, this leaves them with a very limited utility buy-up. 3 smokes for the entire team, 2 flashes for the entire, 2 flashes for the entire team. Doesn't leave a whole lot of room for error when it comes to the actual take. The aim's got to be on point, and that's been one of their biggest problems is these duels here. Navi has been coming out on top almost every single time, so they have to try and win this. jmq's in a good spot to line up this aggression, but already from the beginning, Zeus picks up 1. It's traded out here by waterfalls, but jmq actually there, he's going to catch 2 as he tries to move in. flamie finally shuts him down, but nonetheless, again, PiTER have an opportunity to maybe steal the round away as they've worked into this B side. They've gotten partial control of it. We still have waterfalls. He's going to try to creep in over here from Cat, and flamie won't catch him yet. Waterfalls gets the first spot, and he connects the headshot there too, so now it's all on C's. He moves in, shut down by facecrack, and finally, again, we have some trades coming out from PiTER here, as they at the very least will pick up a 2nd point, but they cannot let Navi get 13. Like, there's a very, very small chance for us to see Navi really screwing up on their CT side. More than likely, this game is already over at this point, but if they let them get 13, it's going to be nigh impossible. Just based on what we've seen from PiTER so far and what we saw back over on their T side. Like I said, remember you hark back to Kabul for a few moments too. They had a good start on that T side, and it tended to look like their better area of the map. But Navi were able to catch on to that and counter out a lot of the aggression. So I'm very, very worried that the same sort of counter is going to come into play here from Navi. And again, this is just Navi setting up a very typical take here too to get themselves onto the site. Zeus has a little bit of a way to see through that smoke, so he is going to be able to take down facecrack. And now Ubik there looking for 1. He's going to be able to catch Edward as he goes out into the open there through the smoke. Looking for a 2nd. He does find that over on his Zeus here too, but a nade comes in to finish him off. And now that leaves it into an even fight. A good flank coming out here from Waterfalls too in just a second. He could be a big player, but he's got to make sure he doesn't get spotted. Might be able to find Guardian, but Guardian very safe has fallen back down, and to be honest, Waterfalls can't see much. He's going to move in there, takes out 1 player, but there's Guardian with the trade. Finds 1. spaze is pushing in though. He's expecting to come above him here, but spaze is trying to push back in there, trying to get to that bomb. He lights up 1 of them. He's going to get the headshot over there on the spaze. Another smoke comes out. The defuse is rolling in at this point. Guardian's going to move in. He shuts it down, and again, that's another 3K from Guardian. I believe that's like 4 in this half that he's managed to pull off. And there you have it. Navi with a 13-2 half. An absolutely monster game here coming out from Guardian. And it does not leave any room for error at all from PiTER as we switch sides. They absolutely have to win this pistol, and they can't really drop any gun rounds after that one, as that would basically hand over the game to Navi. It's going to be so tough for them to make their way back into this one. And Navi just looked absolutely solid here on this first half here. And look at the scoreline here too. And I'm actually pretty surprised that, like, you look at Guardian, he's not actually the top fragger right now. It's Zeus actually that's picked up the most kills for his team. So that's interesting, because you know, you look at, especially in the late rounds here too. I imagine in some of the earlier rounds, a lot of the players managed to get a good piece of the pie as far as the kills were concerned. But at least the later portions of this half, it's all been Guardian, man. He's just been going absolutely crazy with the op. Along with pistol too, I mean, let's underscore that. He's been getting some nice kills with even that as well here. Overall, it's just looked, not just in this map, but the previous map too has been looked insane. Alright, I'm talking about Guardian too much, so let's go into our pistol round here for the second half, as PiTER again down by a very large margin, 11 points to make up for a tie. A whole lot more than that needed to get themselves into the lead and take a victory, but they work a take over here onto the A site. The rotation from Navi going to be a little bit sluggish, but those should be in a good position here because the take speed from PiTER is also a little bit slow. Moving in though, facecrack will find the opener. Waterfalls rolls right in there, picks up C's, looking for another one over here on the Guardian as well, but Edward's going to pick up 2 kills. There's Guardian finding 1. jmq actually moves in to finish off Guardian, but now it's a 2-on-2. Edward trying to rotate in to get a flanked angle. It's unfortunately going to leave flamie overexposed and on his own, so that's going to be Waterfalls picking him up, but there's Edward. He's going to pick up a kill. The timer getting lower and lower, and we can see here too the jmq is way off the site at this point, way over here inside of the T ramp, so he's going to move right back in. And he made the mistake. He unfortunately didn't really know where the plant is there. And with no kit on the ground, and no kit as far as I can see, it's just not going to work. He's going to roll and try to get the kill at least here so we can get some extra cash. He knows he's going to be basically a dead man anyways, but there you go. jmqa is going to end up finishing it off. And we will have actually jmqa surviving that. So PiTER pick up the pistol. They do what they need to get themselves back into this, but they're on a very, very long road. 10 rounds away from even tying it. And then they've also got to add 3 more onto the tally there in order to actually win things out here. So let's take a look and see how things go in the second round. Navi, again, very, I don't know, apologies, they do correct that. They've for a lot of our teams today here in Europe, they've actually been going for a very passive second round, but Navi this time actually go a little bit more aggressively into this one. Guardian, though, doesn't go for the scout buy-up as we may have potentially expected here. He's just going to go for the deagle with no armor, trying to save that money a little bit more, but definitely wants to make an impact as far as he's concerned, as he's definitely been one of those top players and just in terms of the raw impact. But they go for the Gambit 5-man stack over on one of the sites. It doesn't pay off, unfortunately, so PiTER is going to get themselves onto the B site for free. The plant will come off here too, and now they just have to line themselves up for exits. I don't even think they're going to attempt the retake. It's not worth it, so just cover every single avenue that you could use to get out of this site and shut them down from there, as this will be basically a free round, I guess, by the way, of PiTER. Moving in there, flamie gets shut down by UB because he's trying to find his way outside of the back alley. Guardian will be taking a spot in just a second. It's a very close range deagle work that could be done. And also some more working their way in through underpass right now too, but waterfalLLZ is ready for this one. We're trying to take one of them out, but the aim not going to be exactly where it needs to be, so waterfalLLZ again will pick up a second kill for himself. And overall, this attempt to hold and find the exits doesn't really end up going so well, and Guardian kind of decides, yeah, you guys can have fun with that. I'm gonna go do my own thing over here. He'll save the deagle, but that's the only thing, unfortunately, that Navi are going to be able to take out of this round, and now they're basically going to have to full save here in this next one if they want to be able to make sure that they have a full utility buy going into the fourth, and so that they can maybe shut things down very quickly before PiTER are able to grow any further. But as I said before, that pistol round, that gives PiTER the chance to get back into this one, as this is going to establish the 3-0 beginning of the half here for them and put them up to 5 points at least, so long as Navi don't come out crazily here and kind of clutch this. And Navi again trying to take the gambit on the site as we take a look at this too, and man, they're just having no luck with this one. You got a 50-50 chance either way, but that's 2 losses now in a row with this one, and it looks like they're just going to shut it down. Guardian kind of gets tired of waiting, so he moves in, tries to find a shot, but a nade and a shot from the AK will finish him off. And we're just pick up 1, and flamie looking for 1 here too as he brings spaze down pretty low to 34 HP. I don't think Seas is too confident in that though, so he's going to sit back, wait to see if anybody else comes his direction. That will not be happening. So this will be another easy one being picked up here by the players from PiTER, and then we'll be 5-13 as we expected to see. But now comes the hard part, of course. Now comes the opportunity to where we see those big guns. This is a great pop flash too from Edward. He's actually going to get a kill for this one, and that's a pickup. He's going to be able to get an MP7. I highly doubt he's going to stick with this, and facecrack comes in and kills him anyway, so they've reclaimed that. So now going into this gun round, of course, this is the first real big test here for PiTER. The money's also in a very good position here too, as we see the upgrades coming out from these guys. You're still looking at about, I would say, 2 of these players will still be in a confident position to go for a full buy-up after this one. We'll be looking at maybe 1 or 2 Tech 9 buyouts, but the rifles should still be pretty consistent, even if we do see Navi striking back. That's the problem though, is that there's really only room for like 1 round loss max, and 2, there's like, practically of course there's room for 2 round losses before Navi kind of just run away with it. But in reality, when you look at it, PiTER have not had any luck at all on ecos. PiTER have really only been able to contest it when they've got that full buy going for themselves and when they really are well executed on it. You know, this doesn't speak much for their T side because we've only seen the CT side, but just kind of looking at it generally and how things went on that last half as well. If they lose their strong economy, then that's going to be it. I don't really see them picking up any of the rounds. They're going to have all the problems that they had in that previous half will just resurface once again, and that's a great shot from Guardian as well to start things off here once again in the 19th round. He's going to pick up the first pick. That drops waterfalLLZ. Has actually been a pretty impactful player here for PiTER too, so eliminating him is going to be a pretty big key to starting off this half once again. And they might have even spotted the bomb off of that one too. I could be wrong with that, but it doesn't look like it was killed just down over there. For Seas though, watching for a push to come out over here through Cat. The call comes out from his teammates, but he gets a little bit too aggressive with this one, so spaze is going to find the trade from the earlier death of his teammate. flamie very, very close here as well to Beak, and they're going to get into a duel. Beak wins that one, and now PiTER are in control here. They're rotating it. It's going to be very, very slow, and this flying coming out here too from Zeus. Going to try to catch jmqa with the bomb. Does escape inside, and now there's going to be a smoke. For some reason, a smoke comes out there. I'm not sure why he tosses that out, but it does the job, I suppose, as Zeus is going to hold back. He doesn't want to push into that just as of yet, but now moves in there. It's a little bit too late, and Guardian as well, still in this site, working with the op, trying to fall back a little bit to give them some room to push out here, but he's got them trapped in, and we can see that flame is giving room for facecrack, just sneaking by, turtling by that one, but the bomb goes down. Zeus even clues in there too to pick up another one, and now the final player over here gonna catch Guardian on an off angle, so we can't pick that one up, but the trade from Zeus, and there's Navi. They pick one up. It's a very expensive round for themselves, but nonetheless, there's their 14th point here now. They are actually gonna be stretching the cash a little bit here too, we look at the buys from them, as we might have a FAMAS or two coming into the mix, or maybe even just a full save for the utility. And yeah, you can see that Guardian is on a UMP. Seas goes for his buy-up. I think he's tossed a gun, and thankfully because of that he is able to go for his. But PiTER, we can take a look, and they're a lot better off than I originally expected them to be. They're actually not so bad. I thought their money was kind of going to be done for after this one, but they've managed to make it through with a decent pool of cash, it seems. So they'll still be able to go for another pretty confident buy, but as we take a little bit of a peek here, this one will definitely be the end of it as far as them buying up is concerned. So it's all or nothing essentially from PiTER at this point. They'll force it up on the next one, but I'm not too confident if they don't win this one out. And this is actually a really good buy too. They got mollies and all that, so they've got everything they need to work with. It's just about execution at this point. And unfortunately, with Navi having the guns in their hands, the odds are not looking so good. Just looking at our previous half, Seized, however, has taken a little bit here earlier on in the round. He's dropped down to about 12 HP. And as well as used a whole lot of his own somewhat limited utility pool. Guardian, though, could be a big story in a second as he works his way out. Ooh, is able to spot in for the Savelii there, and is actually almost going to take him down, but he hugs the pole and is able to actually escape with his life for the time being. Beak, elsewhere on the map, also is going to be able to catch one, and Guardian's going to be in a bit of a rough spot. He's got to fall back out of there, as that molly is going to connect over onto him. And for the time being, PiTER have a pretty good opening here. Now it's all about just closing it out, getting onto the site, as the time is getting low. 35 seconds. They're moving a lot of their players back over here, and they're going to keep jmqa back over as well, over to toss a couple flashes into the A site to draw the rotation. And it's working out great, actually. They pulled a whole lot into here. jmqa even looking for a couple shots in their predictable spots. They're going to work their way out. Facecrack, nice pull from him. He's going to be able to shut down Seas, and there's Beak with another one. So now they've got B site control, and they should have this round in the bag at this point. Guardian's not going to go without a fight, though. He moves in, finds one, tries to rotate into a second kill, but it's very close. Not going to be enough, and now it's just Edward. Edward, I don't think, wants to risk it, and it's so unfortunate, too, again, when you look at just how low some of these players are. Ubik survives that encounter with Guardian with just a single HP, and as well, look back over here at waterfalLLZ, too. He's had the same problem, sitting at just 19. So it's very close, of course, to Navi, again, just stealing things away, but for the time being, PiTER are going to be able to maintain because they did have enough money still stacked up from the anti-ecos in order to make a confident buy coming into this round. But for Edward, he might try to do some damage at the end. If he pushes forward enough, you could catch one of these players, waterfalLLZ or Ubik, and he might even get so anyway. Hides in this cubby. I don't think anybody else is going to work his way towards him, so he does manage to survive that without any further deaths going out of the players from PiTER. That's a lot of free rifles, of course, and for Navi, their money's actually gone now, so this could be PiTER getting them. This could be PiTER's opportunity to get themselves back into this one, and it is basically going to be a full save here coming out for the Navi guys. No armor vibes. There's a couple Deagles in the mix, along with a 5.7 over there on Zeus. Seized, I think, stays on the default pistol that he has, which indeed that is the case with the P2K. But for everybody else, a couple upgraded pistols, and Edward, of course, still bringing the kit into the action, but he doesn't actually buy any utility either, as his money was also looking a little bit low. And that's a great bounce nade. Take a look at that one. That goes right over there on the flamie. Brings him down already to 19 HP, and then spaze just closes it out. That'll shut him down, and we're looking for more blood to try and get that response now with that, but the smoke comes in, so now they have free reign as far as they're concerned over here on the Cat and working their way into B, and there's no resistance at all from Navi. Again, Navi took the gambit. They thought that they were going to try to push into A this time, but it's almost the complete opposite of what we saw from Navi on the previous one. PiTER really loves to make this push over here into the B site, so they're going to cook all of their efforts in over here. I don't think that molly went where they wanted to go, so that's going to hold them back for a couple extra seconds and give Navi a bit more time to rotate in, but still the gun advantage is very much in the way. However, Edward with this AK, picking up 2 as he moves back in, but to try to get some more damage done, but now there's going to be waterfalls. He finds one. Edward's still working on the wrap. He gets another one, up to 3 kills now, finally shut down by jmqa, and now the other two, they've got an even matchup here, but with no armor, it's just going to be so hard to work this. They get smoked off too. Keep in mind that gun's down, but a great shot from jmqa. That's going to take down Guardian. I think Seas might just go for it here, just to try and see if he can win this round through a lucky bit, as that bomb is still not planting it, almost connecting that shot on the jmqa, but he's going to miss the opportunity. Now sneaks in. He's got the AK to work with, but still no armor. Keep that in mind. That's very important. He has to get the first shots off here. Lights up one of them, switching over to the pistol now, trying to finish off, but not with the aim punch, man, unfortunately. jmqa is going to be able to finish him down, and PiTER, it's going to be very close, but PiTER do manage once again to sneak through with another round for themselves here. As I said, 7-14, they're officially at the halfway point in terms of tying it up against Navi, but just keep that in mind. Keep in mind the struggle that PiTER has had to go through here in order to get to just this point, and then remember that they're only halfway there. And they still have to do that many rounds. Actually, technically more than that if you're just kind of thinking about this as the half. They have to do more the rounds than they've already picked up here just to tie it. That's how imposing this can be to some teams. But it seems PiTER, again, have a very good mindset about this, and they're going to start it off well for themselves. It will be pretty much, again, another eco here coming out from Navi, as they're going to double save to get a very confident buy and try to just end it there. So again, it's Deagles, couple B250s, default pistols here and there. Guardian's already been killed there too from a kill that comes out from waterfalls. Looking for more blood here in a second. Gets that shot. Maybe gets a little bit of damage on the C's there too, connecting it through. But flamie gets that shot. I don't even know where the hell that came from, but that's going to shut down waterfalls. And he gets a second one over onto spaze as well. Now facecrack moves out though. He needs to shut this down before it goes any further. He's going to pick up another kill over here, and that's going to be able to take down flamie after he found those 2 additional kills. C's with the AK now has a little bit more firepower, and they're going to push back in. Edward gets that kill. And now it's just seized. Again, no armor, unfortunately, so I think he actually might make the call to fall back and save this one. Line up for the exits, maybe, just because it's so futile. No real flashes or anything he can work to get himself back into the site either. But we may not be done just yet. He's moving over here towards the apartments, trying to sneak in, looking to see if he can get the lucky shot on jmqa if he was inside apps over towards the window. But they still have no clue he's here. He spots jmqa, good trigger resistance, just waiting for him to actually pop back out. Shouldn't have been able to hear him jumping down, but as he's going to creep in here, that timer getting low. Keep in mind, no kit either. I don't know if this is going to be worth it, man, but he moves in, he gets 1 kill, and unfortunately he's going to jump back through. A little bit close to the explosion, but I think he's going to be good to go here as he falls back out, and look at that. Sees with a free op, very close on surviving. Take a look at that, 10 HP after the bomb blows up, but he'll make it out of that, and Ubik can't actually get himself up on top into the ladder room to stop it, so there's a free op for Guardian now. That's a big save for these players, and now this should be a very full and very confident buy for pretty much everybody on Navi at this point, as they won't have to like struggle and save here in order to get a Guardian that op, and he's even got a lot of cash left over because of this one. He's still sitting on 3.6k after he's bought up all of his utility and whatnot as well. Doesn't go for the pistol upgrade, granted, but I think he's shown plenty of times that he can competently work with his default P2K. But from PiTER now having to work against this, and this being another very, very big and very crucial round, another sort of hurdle to get through here. This will probably lead into another eco for Navi if they unfortunately end up dropping it once again. They could definitely force up and go for a 5-7 armor buy at this point, but might not be wanting to do that as they're getting closer and closer, but Seas is going to pick up the first kill, finds his second as well here, and Guardian with the op doing more work here. A middle attempt to take control here out from the players on PiTER just gets absolutely shut down. flamie holds in the apartments as well, and then it's going to be jmqa as the last player alive, trying to work this 1-on-5, moves in, finds 2, gets partial bomb control area back, but that flash not going to pop where it needs to. Guardian still has free reign over this, and he just gets him through the smoke. Easy kill for Guardian, of course, with the shots he's been making today. So there we have it, 15 points onto the board for Navi. Thankfully, PiTER have been pretty consistent, so for some of their players, at least, they're going to be able to get the buyout. But actually, no. Ubik should be able to get an AK. He's going to drop Tech 9s for a couple players, but everybody else is very low. I really only looked at Ubik's totals, so I thought they were good, but that's not the case at all. This is a horrible buy from PiTER. And it's the same story back from Vex, too. They picked up so many rounds. It's been interrupted a little bit here and there by Navi, but for the most part, they've been fairly consistent. And now they're just working with Tech 9s and Deagles, so this might be just GG right here, unless the Tech 9s just become these headshot magnets on the way into the site here. I should say that there's not a lot of resistance on the site itself, but the second these smokes and all that come in here, now Navi are going to roll into the site to try and hold things a little better. And they might even give them a little bit room to maneuver too, as I think they know they're going to push into them, and that's exactly the case. There's waterfalls, moves in, picks up the headshot on the Zeus as he moves forward, but now this should give them a key too, that they're also not really having a very confident buy-up for themselves. They're not already aware of this. Navi starts to push back in to close this out. They're watching for a flank for some reason. 2 players are back there. Edward picking up 1 kill. C's looking for 1 with the op. He's not going to get it, but as they push back in, they're spazed actually. He's going to find 2. They're not done fighting it just yet. He's back over here on the stairs, and now again, PiTER have the initiation advantage. They move back in. They're looking for more. They can't find it yet. That plant spot is absolutely perfect here. They're going to tap it, and no one else put him back out just yet. Now they're going to move out. There's 1 kill. Switch into the pistol, looking for 1, but spaze and Ubik have that dual spray angle. They're going to shut it down, and PiTER with a very incompetent buy when you look at what they had. Tech 9s along with a Deagle and 1 AK come into play there. It's going to be the players from PiTER that still keep it going for the time being. The 9th point comes onto the board. Navi not yet having cleared the gap yet. They're just 1 singular point away. And now with that round being reset for themselves and them having to build up the economy once again, they're going to have to go for a full save here. Edward with the Deagle armor buy. Guardian already dead. flamie has a Deagle as well, but beyond that, there's really not a whole lot else that's What? The hell just happened? Did the GoTV just fast forward? I've never had that happen before. I think the GoTV just like skipped around. Cause now it's 15:10 now. It's 15:09 a second ago if I remember correctly, and now Navi have guns in their hands. What the hell just happened? All right, well. I guess PiTER won that round. So now it's okay, so now it's match point again, still, of course. And wow, I've never seen that happen before. guess. It wasn't that important of a round, so Goatee was like, man, no one needs to see this. So here they go. Navi's gonna try to hold things. jmqa pushes in, though, and they're gonna try to go for this. Zeus, however, holds underneath. He picks up 3 kills. Spaze finally shuts him down, but it's just down to 2 players now from PiTER at this point. Spaze as well as waterfaLLZ here. They're gonna have to try and hold things off. Edward seized and flamie as Edward pushes back in here, gonna try to look for the kills, but not gonna find it just yet. Spaze actually moving, they're still alive, but they're so low on HP. Good nade comes in and gets the kill, but it's gonna be flamie that closes it out. 16-10, I think, is our final score. I don't know what the hell happened with the GoTV at the end there, but for some reason it, like, skipped the round or something. I've never even heard of that happening before, but that's gonna close it out, and that's gonna be a pretty confident 2-0 from Navi. So, our winners for today's matches, guys, again, Fnatic came out 2-0, very, very close matches versus Vex, but Navi a little bit more solidified in their games. PiTER, unfortunately, going to drop here now with a 2-0 loss to themselves against Navi, and I think that's going to be it, guys. If you've enjoyed the cast, I was filling in today for the usual Face It, guys, so if you want to go ahead and follow me over on Twitter, I am at BLUCSGO. Beyond that, though, I believe that's all we've got for you this evening, so thank you guys very much for tuning in, and I believe... I don't think I'm back tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure there will be more matches tomorrow. So be sure to stick around for that. And yeah, they'll be back. Thanks once again, guys, and we'll catch you later.